How to Live in Your Van, Part 2, Heat. Hello, my name is Juan Asaminch, and today we're going to discuss how to have heat in your van in the winter. From my experience, one of the most challenging aspects of living in a van is keeping it warm. And I don't just mean warm, like tolerably warm, I mean comfortably warm. Um, I'm not a guy who wants to tough it out. I had uh, I had done that a lot last winter, and this winter I want to. I've come up with some strategies to make it different this winter and to stay warmer. Now, when you read online, a lot of people have different ideas. Some people say just use a Mr. Heater and propane heater. Turn that on a couple hours before you go to bed, and a couple hours after you wake up, and that's it. Um, Now, I'm in Canada. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. It doesn't get that cold here, but the average temperature in the winter is anywhere from -1 to +1 Celsius. So it's not freezing. It's not absolutely like, oh my God, it's cold. But it's cold enough that it's not comfortable. And I want to be comfortable. So heat's important. Heat is extremely important to your quality of life in terms of being comfortable. So I'm going to show you what I do to keep warm while living in a van. This is the Olympic Wave 3 catalytic safety heater. It is, in my opinion, one of the best heaters available for living in a van. Why is this heater better than a lot of the other ones? For a couple reasons. Number one, it uses less propane. It's 1600 BTUs on low and 3200, I believe it's 3200 on high. Now compare that to the Mr. Heater Buddy. I believe their heater is 3200 on low and like 4500 on high or something like that. Another reason I like the Olympic Wave 3 is because it's a safer heater. The company claims that its catalytic process of providing heat is the safest you can get, pretty much, for a non-vented heater. So they claim it's even safer than the Mr. Heater Buddies line of heaters because of they use this catalytic. I don't know what the platinum mat or something like that. I forget exactly what it is, but suffice it to say, it's supposed to be less toxic for your environment. Now, the benefit of the Wave 3 over other propane heaters is that 1600 BTUs is, I've never seen a propane heater for less than 1600 BTUs. Even the little buddy, Mr. Heater Buddy, the little small one that screws onto the propane tank, just the green bottle, that's their smallest one, and it still puts out way more than 1600 BTUs. The biggest problem with living in a van and heat is that the heaters, like these propane heaters, they put out too much heat for the van. And I'm going to show you how I've gotten around that issue. So they put out too much heat. That's one of their major drawbacks. The other major drawback is that there's no thermostat. And I'm going to address that as well. So last winter I lived in a Ford E150 standard cargo van with a low roof. And I found with the same heater, the Wave 3, that within 2 or 3 hours it was way too hot. And as I mentioned, the disadvantage with these propane heaters is they don't have a thermostat. So it's not going to shut off when it gets too hot. So a lot of guys, what they do is they'll just actually get up, shut the heater off, wait 2 hours, and turn it on again. And that doesn't really make for a comfortable evening. And moreover, it doesn't make for a night where you can sleep all night with the heater on. And what happens is when you get up, it's freezing cold. Whatever temperature is outside, you're going to maybe be 3 or 4 degrees warmer inside the van just from your body heat. So I believe I found a way to get around that. So how do I get around that? Well, basically it's ventilation. Um, there's this door right here, this window thing, which isn't finished. But this opens up. And that's the van right here, and all that's all open area right to the front window. So there's a lot of air and cold air that comes through here. So I keep that open at night, depending on the temperature. If it's 9 Celsius, I'll open that window, and it will be warm enough. The temperature will be just about right, from my experience so far. Now, if it's really, really cold, I'm not going to have to open this. I can leave it closed. The other key feature is this roof vent known as the Fantastic Fan. It's not fully installed yet, but if you can see, I'll turn it. Right now it's fully open. Now I'm closing it. You see how it's going closed? Well, I want it open because I want all the air to be able to go out the top for ventilation. Now, as you can see that little black grate thing. I don't know if you can see it, but that is the top of my, well, the side of my Fantastic Fan roof vent cover. And the cover allows me to have my lid all the way open. You can hear right now that it's raining. You hear that? And even though it's raining outside, I'm not getting a drop of water in here. So now I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to start up the Olympic Wave 3. Alright, first thing we do, turn on the propane tank. Get my propane tank under here, turn this all the way to the right. As you can see, I got this bungeed in. It's not moving. And I got these wooden pieces in here just to make sure it doesn't move side to side. I mean, I can shake the whole van before this thing will come out. So that's open. I went and sprang for the cover, which is like, I don't know, it was like 20 bucks, but I love this heater so much. Even if this thing broke, I would probably buy another one. So I thought the cover was a good investment. So now let's take it off. So with the cover off, now we can get this thing started. For the Wave 3, press in the knob right here. Hold it for 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the piezo igniter, and then hold it for another 30 seconds or so. And you see that big poof of flame? It does that. And usually I found that once it does that, I can turn it to high, and I can still hear the propane coming in, so that I know that it didn't shut off. That was not 30 seconds. Once that big poof of flame comes up, which it does almost every time, I'm good to crank it up to high, and we're good to go. And it's that easy. When you initially start the heater, you turn it all the way to high, and you leave it on high for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you can either leave it on high for the rest of the time, or you can turn it to low. So, with this window covering open, and with my Fantastic Fan roof vent rain cover on, I have lots of airflow, and I'm getting lots of good fresh air. So I'm not worried about suffocating. one of the big dangers of propane heaters is that if you don't have enough airflow, you will actually, you could die. It's that serious because the process uses oxygen. So if you're not fully ventilated in the van, you will not have oxygen, and guess what? That's a big problem. The last thing you want to do is turn on a heater, run it all night, and not have ventilation, because you might not wake up in the morning. And I'm not joking. So be very careful about that. That's why I knew with this van I was going to put on that huge rain cover, and it looks really stupid from the outside and big and awkward. But for me it's worth it, because now I can have heat on all night and not be worried about suffocating to death. It might get too warm, in which case I can just open this window. So one might say, well, okay, so how much propane will you use? Well, I'm estimating, I haven't done this yet, but based on my experience from last winter, I'm estimating in the coldest months of the year to use no more than 2 propane tanks a month. So that's 2 20-pound propane tanks. So how much of it costs you to fill up your propane bottle is what it'll cost times 2. In BC, Vancouver, BC, the cheapest one is about $16. So I'm not going to pay more than $32 a month for heat that is safe and warm and satisfying. And to me, that's worth it. I mean, especially since from May till basically October, I don't have to pay for any propane, because I don't need to have heat on at all. So to summarize, how to have heat in your van: buy a Wave 3 heater, because it only uses 1600 BTUs, which is the lowest of a propane heater that I know of. If there's one out there that you know of that uses less than 1600 BTUs, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm interested. So yeah, buy a Wave 3, 1600 BTUs. Have a way to ventilate, like with this door, or have a way to have lots of airflow, and then have my roof vent open and this window open. I'm getting lots of airflow. I wouldn't do it any other way. Now that means when it's really, really, really cold out, I can have this window thing closed and almost sealed up with some weather stripping or something, and I can still always have my roof vent open, so no matter what, I have fresh air. And you know, that's at 1600 BTUs. I can always turn it up to 3200 and go to maximum heat, but that would get quite hot, and I think it would probably be too much. I don't want to rough it. I want to have comfort, and having heat is key. If I have a nice warm van with the heat, I really don't feel like I'm missing much. You know, it's like my Facebook page, van apartment. That's what it's like. It's like a van apartment. It's just like an apartment. Having the window I can open, and the roof vent at the top with the rain cover, and the heater that goes from 1600 to 3200 BTUs, with all my insulation in the van, all of those things mean that I have the ability to adjust to the temperatures outside. If it gets too hot, I can open the extra window or an extra vent, like the side vent. If it gets too cold, I can close it. Or if it gets really cold, I can turn my heater to high. So, you know, the temperature fluctuates, and I believe as I learn what system works the best, sometimes it's better to have the window open. If it's really cold, I'll have the window closed. But now I have the ability to make adjustments as necessary. Being able to make those adjustments to the temperature in the van makes living in a van more comfortable. So there are other options to consider to keep warm living in a van. For me, the propane heater with the ventilation combination is the best situation to keep me comfortable with the minimum of inconvenience and hassle. And that's what I'm trying to do. Be comfortable and warm with the least amount of hassle possible. What's for dinner tonight? Want us Mitch? Well, we're having some mixed vegetables, rice, and the main item, slow roasted chicken, sesame garlic. Looks good, smells good. Gonna be eating it soon. I hope you found this video informative and useful, and I hope it'll make your experience living in a van easier for you. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.